The Apparition of Valak in the Haunted Old Church. The small village of Blackwood had one peculiar landmark that everyone avoided, the old St. Jude Church. Abandoned decades ago, it sat on a hill surrounded by overgrown trees and crumbling gravestones. It was said to be cursed, haunted by an unholy presence. The villagers whispered tales of strange lights and blood-curdling screams echoing from its walls at night, and at the center of these tales was a single name: Valak. Emma, a freelance journalist, had a penchant for the paranormal. Determined to uncover the truth about the church, she decided to spend a night there, armed with only her camera, flashlight, and a small notebook. Her friends had begged her not to go, but her curiosity outweighed her fear. The night was cold and eerily silent as Emma climbed the hill. The church loomed before her, its once grand facade marred by years of neglect. The wooden doors creaked open with a reluctant groan, revealing a dark, musty interior. Dust motes danced in the beam of her flashlight as she stepped inside. The air was thick and heavy, carrying a faint metallic tang that made Emma's skin crawl. She moved cautiously through the nave, her footsteps echoing unnaturally. The pews were shattered, the altar draped in cobwebs, and the stained glass windows depicted saints whose faces had long been eroded by time. As Emma set up her camera near the altar, a chilling breeze swept through the church, extinguishing her flashlight. The darkness was absolute, pressing in on her like a living entity. Emma fumbled to relight it, her hands trembling. Then she heard it, a low, guttural laugh that seemed to come from every direction at once. "Who's there?" Emma called out, her voice betraying her fear. The laugh grew louder, transforming into a distorted, echoing chant. Emma's flashlight flickered to life, and she froze. At the far end of the nave, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was tall and cloaked in black, its face ghastly pale with piercing yellow eyes that seemed to burn into her soul. Valak. Emma's breath hitched as the figure moved closer, its feet never touching the ground. The temperature plummeted, and the walls of the church began to tremble. Emma backed away, but her legs felt leaden. "Leave this place," Valak hissed, its voice like nails on a chalkboard. Emma tried to speak, but the words caught in her throat. Instead, she clutched the crucifix around her neck, holding it out as a feeble shield. Valak let out an ear-splitting screech, and the crucifix grew searingly hot in Emma's hand. She dropped it with a cry, the small object clattering to the floor. Desperate, Emma turned and ran, but the doors slammed shut before she could reach them. The laughter returned, now accompanied by whispers in an ancient tongue. Emma spun around, her flashlight sweeping the room, but Valak was gone. Or so she thought. A sudden force flung her to the ground, and the flashlight rolled away, casting wild shadows. Emma scrambled to her feet, only to find Valak inches from her face, its twisted grin revealing razor-sharp teeth. "Your soul is mine," it whispered. Emma screamed, her voice echoing through the empty church. In her desperation, she remembered the stories she had read about the power of faith. She began to recite a prayer, her voice shaky, but growing stronger with each word. Valak recoiled, its form flickering like a faulty projection. The whispers grew louder, almost deafening, but Emma kept praying. The ground beneath her glowed with an unholy red light, and the symbols etched into the floor ignited. Valak let out a final, unearthly wail before vanishing in a blinding flash. The church fell silent once more, save for Emma's ragged breathing. The doors creaked open, revealing the first light of dawn. Clutching her camera, Emma staggered out into the fresh morning air, tears streaming down her face. She never spoke of what happened that night, but the footage on her camera told a story that haunted her dreams. The villagers noticed that the church seemed quieter after Emma's visit, but no one dared to go near it. And though Valak was gone, Emma knew that evil was never truly defeated. It lingered, waiting for the next soul to wander into its domain.